Davey, a great way to get back to winning ways at the weekend. Is it a question of not getting too high with the highs or too low with the lows? Obviously.
You just take one game at a time, to be fair. It's probably, I speak about it quite a bit. Fans will be getting bored of listening to the same answers, but you kind of just take one game at a time and go out try and win that game of football. But I think that's 2 or 3 times now we've come up with late winners in games, and I think that's testament to the players. I think that shows the character in the dressing room, it shows the resilience in the dressing room, their desire to go and win games of football. So it's, listen, I would like it a wee bit easier on the sidelines, but I don't think there's a better way to win a game of football, especially a game that's into extra time, going into penalty kicks, and we come up with a big goal. So brilliant, but yeah, it's probably about just keeping that equilibrium in terms of don't get too high, don't get too low, and just look at the next game.
I think Ross County came into the game with a wee bit of form. They've done all right in the league, so that must be pleasing to come away with the win.
I think, I was speaking to Don after the game. I think they had wretched away form and unbelievable home form, but actually speaking to Don, they've picked up 2 or 3 away from home and ironically lost the last couple at home, and I think we were maybe the 4th or the 3rd. So I think I'd went in and it was using it as a barometer in terms of kind of where we are as a group. If we were to get promoted, how would that look? And I know it's over the course of 38 games, but we've just come out of the Premier League, so we've got a great understanding of what that entails. And I felt for most of the game we deserved to be in front, we deserved to go through. I think we were the better team on the day, and that for me is really, really pleasing, because that's a difficult venue historically for us as a club. For most people who's going up there, it's a difficult venue to go and get the win, and the boys in the change room managed to go and do that. I think I speak about the group in terms of the actual squad, and the subs had a huge impact on the game, and then the boys that never went on the park, you could see their celebrations from the dugout. So you can see that there's real character, it's a good dressing room, and that takes you a long way in football.
I think one of the key things is the guys that aren't playing, they've still got a pivotal role to play, whether it's, from the sidelines, encouraging other guys and even pushing them on. I
think pushing them on every day in training, I speak about that, you get your opportunity every day. It kind of irritates me when you hear players saying, I've not had an opportunity. Every player at every club's got an opportunity every day in training. Now, that's going to then lead into if you're going to get game time or not. We play reserve games, so everybody in the change room gets opportunities. Where I would say is, I don't think we've had as many games where you could call as being comfortable in them. I think every game's a difficult challenge in the Championship. So we've not had an opportunity to maybe utilise the squad as much as I would like to. I think we've got a good group in there. I could probably pick 2 or 3 different starting 11s and they'd be more than capable of going out and getting the victory on the day. But there's a core group of probably 14, 15 players that have shown real consistency throughout the season. They've got us to where we are today. And there's probably another 4 or 5 boys that have been a wee bit unlucky in terms of the consistency the groups showed that in terms of that 14, 15, and probably the way games of football have went. I spoke about it, just touching it earlier, that we've won a few games of football late on. If you could maybe get a wee bit more comfortable in games earlier on, it allows you to then utilise the squad a wee bit better. But I was really pleased in terms of the boys on the park, the boys that went on the park and the boys off the park. There's a real unity there in the squad, and I think that shows in terms of maybe scoring these late winners.
Obviously this was the first time it happened. There was no subs in the 90 minutes or first half of extra time. What was the thinking behind?
I just think we had control in the game. Obviously we went up there, Meshach, I'd spoke to Meshach before the game saying I'll try and get an opportunity to get you on the park, but I don't think it was a game that was crying out for out and out wingers at that time in the game. So it was pretty direct. It was first contact, second contacts. So you're looking at your bench, we were up there, we were minus 3 wingers, a bit of physicality, big Knots wasn't there. So really defensively, you were where you were. There wasn't a lot to change. You had young Cody, but it's a big game to throw a young kid in. And then in the forward areas, it was always in the back of my head to change the forward areas, but I just felt the boys that were on the park had enough control in the game to go and get us through to the next round.
I know we don't like bringing up the playing surfaces, Davey, but how was it to play on grass and how was the pitch for the guys? It looked a bit heavy.
I think when you're going up anywhere at this time of year, I think Ross County's one of the better parts, to be honest. They really look after it, but you're going up to the Highlands at this time of the year. They probably just came off a couple of bad weeks of really bad weather, so the playing surface wasn't ideal. Again, that leads into kind of the style of play on the day, to be honest, and it also has an impact on who you're looking to bring on the park. So it wasn't ideal on the day. It's the same for both teams, but I understand why it wasn't. I think they had a big game against Hearts, and it was a torrential rain, and then you went into the snow, and I think they had Celtic, so they'd came off the back of a bad period of weather with two really big games on the park, so it was difficult. You couldn't have asked for much more, to be honest, but in general Ross County's playing surface is fantastic. But listen, it's the same for both teams. I'll never really going to sit and moan about surfaces. It's the same for both teams you get on the park, but aye, it wasn't ideal. We've played up there on better surfaces at Ross County, but it's understandable also.
Obviously we've got Hamilton next. Does the Ross County game give you a little boost going into this one?
Probably a wee bit of confidence for the players in the changing room, but again, how we kind of work is come in here the next working day from the game and we kind of look at it and we put it to bed. So for us, we came right in, we didn't look too much into Ross County analysis. We generally delve a wee bit deeper into the post-match stuff. We really touched on it and then moved into, we used the Airdrie game from the Tuesday night as our post-match in the Monday morning to get us refocused and back into league business, because the challenge that Airdrie posed was totally different from the challenge Ross County posed, and the challenge that Hamilton's going to bring to the game is a lot different from the Ross County game. So for me it was just about come in, touch on Ross County, use that kind of momentum the boys about, the positivity. I speak about it quite a bit with the group. I think there's a Premier League group in there. I think it's one of the strongest squads we've had. There's a real good group, and I think they need to show a wee bit more belief in themselves at times, because I think, I'm not going to say we've underperformed, but there's been periods throughout the season where I think you're probably going to look at that as underperformance, but I think we've let ourselves down at periods in the season, small periods in the season. I think there's a really strong group of players that can go on and get promoted, that can go on and do well in cups, and that's shown that at this point in time. We're still three of the major objectives are still on the table at this point in time. We're coming to the end of January in terms of the Trust Trophy, the Scottish Cup, and being in the mix to get promoted back to the Premier League. But hopefully the boys can show a wee bit more belief and positivity, because I thought their performance was outstanding.
January is always the month where there are ins and outs at most clubs. Is there any conversations for either in or out?
Yeah, well, we're kind of on the goalkeeper front. Jack's had to return to Dundee United. Jack's a pre-existing injury, he needs an op on a pre-existing injury that he's just came back from, so Jack's gone. So we've got a couple of options to bring another goalkeeper in, but that's much of a muchness with Martindale going. We've lost probably 3 or 4 outfield players now. That's probably going to be touching on 5 or 6 come the end of January. We've managed to bring in, obviously the goalkeeper's like for like, but we've managed to bring in Robbie Fraser, Meshack, and we'll be looking at bringing one more in today, Wednesday. I think it's going to really enhance the group. So we've managed to, believe it or not, cut the budget by moving players on and bringing, for me, players that are going to really help the starting 11. So we've managed to bring starting 11 players in and saved a few pounds for the football club at the same time. So we've had to be really creative in terms of how we've done that. But if it wasn't for clubs like Rangers, clubs like Hearts kind of looking and trusting us with their younger players, that wouldn't be the case. But we've managed to get a couple of younger players in the building Dundee United, sorry, as well. So Rangers, Dundee United and Hearts, all Premier League football clubs. The people within the clubs trusting Livingston and myself with their players to try and develop and progress their careers. So I think it's been quite a good January. There's another 2 probably going to leave the building. So all in all, I feel we've brought 3 first-team players into the building. Goalie will take care of itself. And we've managed to move 5 or 6 on. So we've managed to bring the budget down, but bring a wee bit more quality into the group.
Obviously, Mishak joined the club. What does he bring to the group, and what's the expectations?
I think he's very good in the wide areas. He's got a great turn of pace, good left foot, great in 1v1 situations. He's played top league, top tier football in Hungary. He's played 70 odd games in Hungary, and that's a tough level. I know the backstory. Spoke to the guys at Dundee United. I know the backstory. Understandable, he's not playing at United just due to lack of form, so to speak. I think Jim's and Dundee United went in there and really had a really good run of form in a specific shape. They're sitting third in the league at this point, so the opportunities for the boys, like Mishak, who's come in the summer, have been limited. So we've been able to provide Mishak with a platform, but he's an out-and-out winger, can come inside, come outside. You see the ball he puts in for the goal, for the third goal on Saturday. It's a great ball. Absolutely great ball, good awareness. He brings a wee bit of game experience playing football at a top level, coming from a Premier League football club, and he's got a lot of attributes that I feel have maybe not kicked on with in terms of the players that have come in this summer. So great in 1v1s, good turn of pace, eye for a goal. And he understands Scottish football. He's played top tier football and he knows how to use his body. So there's a lot to like. I think he brings a different skill set in terms of the wingers that are currently in the building at this point in time.
You touched upon a few guys missing, like Knotts, obviously Clarkey and Yengi's been out missing. Is there any update on the guys that are out of the squad?
Knotts trained yesterday, and Clarkey and Tetty can't be a million miles away. Where Saturday's a wee bit earlier and all, we don't know. But Clarkey can't be a million miles away. There's a couple of niggles and knocks for the game on Saturday. It's 100 and just close to it. Well, it was 120, just a wee bit over that minutes. Fairly intense game on a heavy park. So there's a couple of niggles and knocks for that. But Knotts has been back training. Tetty's not a million miles away. Clarkey's not a million miles away. We'll be bringing Sam Kilbert comes back into the mix because he was cup tied on Saturday. And we're bringing another one in the day I've touched on from Hearts that I feel is going to make us better.